So hear me out, let's pitch two giant dragons against each other, one from the franchise of A Song of Ice and Fire, you know, the Game of Thrones and the House of the Dragon universe, and then another dragon from the animated How to Train Your Dragon franchise. Let's take a look at two of their largest flying dragons from both of the shows and compare them to one another. Let's take in Vhagar, the second largest dragon from Westeros, and put it against the Red Death, the second largest dragon from Berk, or you know, the dragon's archipelago. Let's take a look at both of these she-dragon sizes, their speeds, powers and personality, and compare them against one another. So let's get to it. Let's begin with the description. So the Red Death. This dragon was seen in the first How to Train Your Dragon movie, and it was a gigantic beast that is bluish in coloration with accents and highlights of red all over the body. It has 6 eyes and an enormous head with a large mouth that can fit an entire Viking ship inside of it. Its teeth are like swords. It has 4 legs and massive wings which enables it to fly at fast speeds. Its body tapers out in a long tail that is equipped with a club-like ending. Vhagar from the House of the Dragon, though, is the biggest dragon in that series, and the second biggest dragon after Balerion in the entire timeline. And it was originally one of the 3 dragons from Aegon's conquest. This dragon is greenish in coloration and has a serpentine-like body, much like the rest of its kin. She has a wyvern body, meaning she has 2 legs and 2 arms that are evolved or modified into massive wings. Its tail is long and snake-like but without any protrusions or spikes at the end. So let's take a look at their sizes. The Red Death is one of the largest dragons from the Dragon franchise. It is said to measure 122 meters or 400 feet long and would stand around 30 meters or 100 feet tall on all 4 legs. Its massive wings spread out outwards to around 300 feet or 90 meters on both directions, meaning it has a wingspan of around 600 feet or 180 meters wide. Vhagar, on the other hand, if we take in the officially stated sizes, then she would come in at 150 meters or 492 feet long from the head to the tail. With that length and her serpentine body, she would also stand around 100 feet or 30 meters tall. But then her wingspan would stretch out to an impressive 300 meters or almost 1,000 feet wide, almost doubling the wingspan of the Red Death. So with the wingspan in mind, let's take a look at their speed. So the Red Death showed no lack of speed during flight as it was fast enough to catch up with Toothless in the air. However, it's quite possible that Toothless only slowed down to make the Red Death stay close, or that his prosthetic tail fin wasn't allowing the Night Fury to fly at maximum speed at that time. But even then, lacking agility, the Red Death could still fly pretty fast. Vhagar, on the other hand, was also a very proficient flyer and can use her massive wings to pursue and maneuver and even catch the younger Arax in mid-air. But then again, Arax was young and stupid and a clumsy dragon, at its time of death. So all in all, I would say that both the Red Death and Vhagar, even though massive creatures they are equally fast in the air. Now let's take a look at their powers. The body of the Red Death is heavily armored with dense scales, horns and a coral-like frill, enabling the titanic beast to perforate, pierce as well as demolish enormous rock cliffs of the volcano and the smaller mountains on its side. Not only with brutal destructive power, but the Queen of Dragons also has been shown to have incredible stamina in flight despite her tremendous size, being able to keep up with the Night Fury. She possesses immense strength, capable of effortlessly lifting Viking ships in her mouth and then crushing them with one single bite. Her methane-based flame jets are powerful enough to take down an entire fleet of Viking ships. She has 6 eyes, which gives her no blind spots at all, and can command an entire army of dragons with her alpha call. And to top it all, she can inhale a huge amount of air, effectively creating a vacuum to suck in lesser dragons into her mouth. Vhagar also has powerful scales that can protect it from fire blasts and claw attacks from other smaller dragons. She has a powerful fire breath that can burn ships to cinder in a short amount of time. Even though we haven't seen this yet, we can infer that this is the case since Drogon, a smaller dragon, can do the same thing. She possesses incredible stamina despite her age, which is nearing 200 years or 2 centuries. She also has large claws on her legs. But that's about all of her powers, which is basically just size, a good speed and a fire breath. As for experience in battle, the Red Death, to attain her status as an alpha of the dragons in the first movie, would have had quite a number of years battling other dragons, and given that the archipelago is filled with dragons of all shapes and sizes, she would have had countless battles for dominance, as well as hunting other dragons for food. Vhagar, also has had quite a lot of fights in her 200 years, but these battles are quite often against smaller dragons, which she can easily overpower with her massive size and large mouth. But then both these dragons though were defeated by smaller competitors. The Red Death met her end against Toothless the Night Fury, which employed a hit and run tactic, burning the wing membranes till she fell to her death from the sky. Vhagar also met a similar end, battling Caraxes, a smaller dragon, which employed a swooping maneuver and caused both the dragons to plummet to death in Rook's Rest. But this battle was more intense as both Caraxes and Vhagar were locked in on each other's throats till the final crash. So, if we do a comparison, we would find that Vhagar has an edge in size. But this would not be a huge advantage since the Red Death, even though she is shorter in length, is more robustly built and has a larger head for bites. The forelegs of the Red Death are also armed with deadly claws that can rip Vhagar's body to shreds if they are locked in close quarters fights. Vhagar might also have large claws, but they would not be enough to counter the hard armored scales of the other dragon. And given that the Red Death also has a clubbed tail, this fight would be heavily tilted to Berk's dragon. In a ranged fire breath battle, both would have equally strong flames, which cannot be quantified so well as to see how much damage they could inflict on each other. But this eventually would lead to a melee battle again, a battle that the Red Death would easily win. So, in this comparison, the Red Death beats Vhagar. So that's about all we have about Vhagar and the Red Death and their comparison. So if you like this video, then watch this other one as well. And do check out our channel for other monster content. We might just have things you haven't seen before. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care, fam.